Welcome to this overview of the EverSmart Rodent desktop dashboard. The dashboard monitors trends, alerts, and locations, as well as providing insights on likely rodent activity detected by sensors in the field, and then validated and reported back as alerts to you by EverSmart's unique AI/ML algorithm. The first step, of course, is to sign in after creating your account, and then navigate past other EverSmart icons to the EverSmart Rodent dashboard. As you'll see, at the top of the dashboard there are displays for daily and weekly alerts, as well as information on battery life and the connectivity of your LoRaWAN sensor network. To the right, a graph shows daily trends by hour, and of course, we can dig down to focus on weekly, monthly, or seasonal trends too. We'll get to that in a moment. In the left sidebar, you can navigate to different and deeper views of the same data. Click on the Trending filter, and you will see all the recent activity on a long, straight timeline. If you choose last month, for instance, you can view the dots as individual activity over the course of that month, or a day, a week, or a year, as you prefer. Click on Heat Map, on the other hand, and you're viewing a 24/7 accumulation of activity over a period of time. As we'll see later, this can be very useful in finding patterns of rodent activity and in diagnosing what might be going on at the customer site that's triggering it. Now, back to the trending label. You'll see that each dashboard has a series of filters at the top, which allows you to choose the period you want to look at. So, in this example, you choose 2 weeks worth of data, and the dashboard instantly reacts to that choice. Are you looking for a specific set of days, like working hours or particular times of the day? Let's say you choose the entire 24-hour day. Then you decide on the focus of the view you want to see. We call that the twin. By default, the twin is set to the customer level, and on the left you'll see listed every customer where you've installed. You can also dig further down by clicking on the individual location to examine every single deployed sensor, whether they are in bait boxes, traps, or in outside-the-box standalone sensor locations. And again, you see the dashboard adjust. But for purposes of this demonstration, we're going to go back to the customer level. Now go to the final filter, marked All. The dashboard remembers all the choices you've already made and lets you zero in on exactly the site and location and view you want to explore. Let's say you want to compare activity across customers in dumpsters. The dashboard adjusts. Let's say I want to focus on a particular customer. You would click Reset and then choose, say, Willowbrook Junction, where you have 8 units installed. And from there, we're able to pinpoint various sites and types of deployments that are unique to that specific site. Now, let's move back up a level and take a look at the event timeline. This provides a look at activity based on the timeline you've chosen. Remember, you chose 2 weeks at every single site. As you roll over these dots on the event timeline, you'll see a number of things. The activity time of the alerts, along with the name of the customer, and the tag name that you assign to that particular location when you sync the sensor using the Deploy M app. In this case, it says Cedarwood Center, the Wholesome Plate, Alley, Unit 25 on Saturday, August 31st. That's pretty precise. Now, if I go back up to Alerts by Customer and select All, I basically repaint these graphs, and it all separates into customer streams. And of course, you can see this in a bar graph style below under Event by Date. Since you're monitoring these units for maximum impact, you may want to focus on the Cedarwood Corner story, which shows 55 events over the past 2 weeks. By far the highest level of presumed rodent activity. Now you're going to dig into this particular customer by clicking on the All filter again, located at the far right of the Saved Filters row, and selecting Cedarwood Corner. And now you're seeing only that customer's data, with all your previous choices, including the 2-week time period, still in effect. But you want to zoom in even further. To do that, you go to Compare by Customer and decide to change the twin you're viewing. You can choose a particular site. You see this one has 2 separate buildings, an area within the site, and you can choose their loading dock, dumpsters, or alleys. Or you can go all the way down to individual units and sensors deployed, whether they're traps or bait stations or out-of-the-box standalone sensors. Let's say that's what you decided to do. Now you can see that of the 2 buildings on the site, the one called the Wholesome Plate is where the vast majority of likely activity is being detected. This means you can direct your team to focus on units 22, 23, 19, and 21, and 25 there, and not waste time on units 20, 18, and 24, where there's been no activity for 2 weeks. Now, to provide your tech with the best intel you have, you go up and choose units 23 and 22, and you'll see the dashboard refreshes in a way that tells you just what's going on there. And here's where the heat map comes in. You go to the heat map and you'll see that all your selected filters are still inherited from the things you did in the past couple of minutes, and suddenly you can see patterns very clearly. For instance, Unit 22 activity is generally between 7 a.m. and noon, and mostly on Wednesdays and Thursdays for some reason. So, is there something the customer is doing at those times, having trash bins empty, possibly having a food delivery? Is someone leaving a dumpster lid open? That's causing that pattern. The heat map is the investigative tool that shows where the activity is and where it's not, and helps you give the techs the intel they need to make the best of their efforts. It also helps to show customers when actions like exclusion work might be warranted. And that's it for this overview of the EverSmart Rodent dashboard. As with all EverSmart products, the ultimate goal here is to deliver on the Microshare brand promise, sending the right notification to the right person at the right time. Thank you for watching.